welcome to Woodward's Watercolours. Well, today I am pretty excited because this episode Isaac and I are going into Go stores. Can you see Go? Can't really see the Go sign there. Isaac's away in. He's away to spend the money that he's made from the pallets that he's sold that many of you have purchased, so thank you for that. What we're going to do is we're buying a fairly large tent and equipment, and we might not stay and go outdoors now. We might actually go to Decathlon because the prices might be better, because you want to get the best price, don't you? So we're going to go and get lots of stuff, and then we're going camping to a place called Trench Farms, I think it is, in Ballycastle in the north coast of Northern Ireland, which is stunning. It's raining today. Hopefully won't be raining then. We're going to spend 2 days, so we're taking you with us, and I'm going to be painting and sketching and things like that and flying drones and all of that, and Isaac's going to be there too. He may appear, he may not, we shall see. Okay, in we go. Okay, so we're heading to the tent field this way. Shopping for sleeping bags for Isaac to see what is actually the warmest. We figured out that this was the way to do it. I think we found the one. He's just trying it out there to see. He said this one's a bit warmer. What do you think, Isaac? No, you can't get out. So we have spent Isaac's money really. I'm going to take care of the food and the camping. But we've got table, sleeping bag, mattress, kitchen, tent, which would be important. And what else have we got? We've got a gas stove and a barbecue. The joys. We'll get this in the car and then get the rest. So we've got everything in the car. Next up is Decathlon. This is very exciting. It's very exciting spending Isaac's money, actually. It's one of the bits I'm certainly enjoying. But we have everything that we need. Can you believe it? The 13-year-old me is very excited. Okay, Decathlon, here we come. So we actually did do a trip to Decathlon. Isaac got himself a bed. Now we're going to IKEA on Easter Monday. busy. And we're going to try and get some plastic cups, maybe a wee saucepan, frying pan, that kind of thing. So we went to IKEA, couldn't find any plastic plates. I've somehow managed to get a very liquid pot holder and a plant. What is it about IKEA? You go in for one thing and end up with like a cuddly toy, a plant, and something else that you actually didn't need. Anyway, now we're going back to Decathlon. Then we're also going to take something back to go outdoors. So I think by the time it ends up on Thursday, we'll be exhausted. Right, so that is now the third time today that we've been in and out of go outdoors. We've now got enough gas, I think, to keep us going for several months should we decide to stay to live at Trench Farm. We've been to Decathlon, we've been to IKEA, and we've actually been to Decathlon twice and forgot the video both times, but here we are. We've got our haul. I think that's us settled and ready to go. And he's in the car. Okay, so this is all of the things that we bought. Hey, look at that. His camping bed. We've got the tent. Then we've got the barbecue. I'm sure you can read. Picnic table. His sleeping bag. Cups, and this little thing out of IKEA I'm pleased with. This is the little cutlery set. These are the butane gas. We already have one of those stoves, which many of you have seen in the last video. And this is the kitchen, which doesn't look like much yet, but it'll be good. Yes. That's Isaac's thumb, this is mine. So the morning is finally here. I've done my messages. I actually need to get, charity shops won't take lampshades anymore, or travel cots. So we've got to get them out of the car. Then Isaac and I are going to pack the car. Then we're going to go to Tesco's, get all our supplies, and then we're on the road up to Trench Farm. Whoa! Okay, car's packed, we're good to go. Isaac's now just thrown his coat in the back. We have a drone that we need to call back from after we've been to Tesco's to pick up, so it'll have some more charge, and then we'll be on the road. Woohoo! Okay, that's us ready. We're in the car, car's packed, off to Tesco's we go, and off to camp! Right, shopping complete. Time to get it into the car and head up to Ballycastle. So we are finally packed. Just remembered the welly, but something waterproof for you to wear. He's got his drone slightly more charged. He's got his breadsticks, his Coke. Off we go! So we've had to make a pit stop at Junction 1 because we forgot our cooking pot. And we were here a couple of days ago and I sort of thought I should have bought this. So hopefully it'll still be here. It's a little camping set, you know, one of those ones that sort of packs in tight together. So hopefully it's still there and we can grab it. No, they don't have it. So we're going to have to try either Poundland or B&M just to get a wee pan to cook our beans in. I'm delighted. Poundland saved the day, and we've got one of those showery things to keep us clean. £4 for a saucepan. Who could beat that? So here we are. We have turned into the really beautiful in the middle of nowhere trench farm, which is what we're most excited about. It faces. So we've arrived at the beautiful trench farm, and there is one other person camping, which actually is perfect for us. We've chosen a spot down, where will we go? There's no room. So we're going to get the car unpacked and we'll get everything up. And look, there's just a lovely little windmill just spinning around behind us. So here we are at our wonderful campsite. So we've got our little barbecue area here, and then it's got this fire retardant mat underneath to protect the grass. Our seats, then beloved son is there. We've got our storage area down here, and then we have got all of our little kitchen snacks in the top right, slightly healthier food on the bottom right, and then all of our like pots and pans and things. Our 2 gas stove setup with a simple canister. Sleeping area, little table and Coke, which you desperately need. The kind of filming station and table. What a setup! Well, hello. We're about to tuck into our wieners. Isaac's already eating his, and we've got our pot noodle and Cokes. Oh, now to sit. So I'm making a cup of tea for the two of us. Isaac's whittling, but it's time that we fire the drone up and get to have a look at what this place is actually like from the sky. There's something epic about just going out to collect wood, isn't there, Isaac? So I'm going for the very, very long walk from our tent right across to the windrushes, or the jaggies as we would have called them when we were kids. Always felt really wild and cool, and it's just a total explosion of colour in the Northern Irish landscape, really. There's the beautiful jaggies. In fact, Do you know if you can see this bit here? It's just totally full of these wonderful greens and then this explosion of yellow. So yes, you've guessed it, we're going to use our Derwent Inktense in the sketchbook. We're going to scroll right across the middle. I'm going to get myself set up with all my bits and bobs, and then we'll draw this together. So come on, let's make a start. Okay, so we've got the little kids Mala drawing board. We've got the set of 12 pencils by Derwent Inktense, Faber-Castell's Pitt pens. I've got this flat water brush, which has been a great job. I think I bought 4 of those for about £4 or something on Amazon. Anyway, I'll find the associate link for that. And then of course the beloved Seawhite of Brighton sketchbook. So let's get this clipped open and then let's make a start. Now the bulldog clip, you can see Belfast Airport now. The bulldog clip is really helpful for keeping the paper. I don't know actually whether I will go across the middle because that looks pretty affected by what I was using yesterday, which was I was having to go with one of those graph blocks. I'd never heard of those things before, but anyway, giving that a go. So what we have in front of us is this beautiful plant here, and I was telling you the wind rushes, look at that, exploding with color. So what I want to do first of all is drawing it really quickly. I'm going to set all these down here. There's actually nettles down there, so I'll put them down to that side. And what we're going to use then is it's really interesting how that's affected the page. Seems to have really gone through. Anyway, we're going to use the thinnest, or it could be tempted to use the brush one of this. That could be a wee bit nuts, but let's go ahead with that. Use the thick brush. What we're going to do is we're just going to draw in all these shapes, and that's actually going to be quite interesting. It's like drawing with a felt tip, which I don't know how I really feel about. In fact, let's make the switch because I'm not loving that so very much. Too thick and not enough movement. Feels like I'm drawing with a felt tip, which I'm not loving. These Pitt pens are really, there we are, that's far better. These Pitt pens are completely and utterly waterproof and are a joy to use. And if you look at these plants here, if you can see inside, they're really spiky. They're really spiky. And as a kid, I used to get jagged by them all the time. So what I'm going to do is just make some different marks. They're sort of like these, they're like little egg sort of like shapes, and throughout them then you've got these marks, you know. I don't know how to describe that. Jaggedy barbed wire kind of marks, and then surrounded by these beautiful, and actually before they come out, it's not actually before they come out, once they go to seed they look like peas. And I remember as a kid getting them all the time and kind of you know, just playing with them and opening them and all that kind of stuff. So it really is just a bit of a crazy plant, but I mean just exploded with colour. And there's another big spiky bit there, so I'll draw that there. I want to keep this moving quickly because I've been really enjoying the life that's been coming into the paintings that I've been doing, or the illustrations, whatever the heck you want to call them, when I've been doing them nice and quickly like this. So just getting in some of these spines, these aggressive spines that are about throughout this, and I want to get them connected in here too, because I also recover those bits where we're using that effectively what felt like the felt tip pen. Just do these spines throughout, making these marks. And this is a process for me of glancing up and down really continually and keeping the pen moving while I am glancing up as well. I find that really helpful. And also then you start to develop this almost kind of muscle memory of what you're drawing, so you can almost create them. So noticing some of them here have this kind of a structure. They're just so abundant, like it's just really luxurious yellow, just screaming out all over the place. So let's get these. Meanwhile, Isaac is collecting wood, and I am out here really enjoying myself I was helping him there for a wee bit. He seems to be having a good time. Just nice to be out in the wilds. And interestingly, he just wants to be here. He doesn't want to be, you know, heading into the town or anything like that, or anywhere near shops. Hasn't picked up his phone. Not that he would use his phone lots, like, but hasn't picked it up once since he's been here. Just really enjoyed process of being out in the wild, and I think looking forward to lighting our barbecue, and we're going to have steak tonight, which I think he and I are both really excited about. Should be really good. Now on this side, this one's got really Ming. I'll just show you the bit I'm talking about. This bit here has got really Ming, and this bit here started to go to seed. You can see all of these spines there. So wanting to kind of capture that as best I can. It's just lovely being outside and drawing, doing these videos, taking you along with us for this camping trip. And I'm gonna call these the Jaggies. I have a little set of stampers that lives in this little kit that I keep in the car, so that will be added in later. Get some of these too here. So for anybody from Northern Ireland, I'm confident that you'll remember the Jaggies. Maybe you called them something else, but that was our name for them. Are you going to the Jaggies? I remember we would have said, and met with friends out and about, and in the summertime, because obviously we didn't have phones, so we had to go outside and play and make ramps and jump. And I remember borrowing my friend's skateboard, and I wasn't allowed to be on skateboards, and then of course the skateboard shot out from underneath my foot when a car was going past and completely wrecked it, and Mum and Dad grounded me. I think it was one of the only times I was ever grounded. Boy, did I feel wick. For those of you in America, wick is a statement of feeling pretty bad and embarrassed and all those kind of things. Okay, I think that's all we want. Give it a wee signature. Be proud of what you do, whether you're proud of it or not. Okay, so put the pens away, or the pen away. Now, next thing, get the beloved Derwent Inktenses. Now, so what we're going to do for this is, I think, use most of the packs seem to have this leaf green, which is really good. Now, remember when I was drawing before, I actually used the pencil to draw more information in there too. So I think that's a good thing to do. It sort of overlays and increases the depth in the picture that you're working on. Just those lines that I'm making, it feels sort of jaggy and mean, and but I don't know, the sound effects maybe help me make those jaggy, mean lines. Maybe they don't, maybe they do, who knows. It's for the purposes of your entertainment. Anyway, getting these in here, getting some more spiky bits. Also wanting to do this nice and quickly, because I don't want to be away from Isaac for too long, but I also want to be able to capture something of where we are, get this nice and dark. And it means also then that I can lift that, because don't forget, with the pigment of the Derwent Inktense, you can lift and move the pigment around, which is one of the, I think, really quite unique benefits of this thing. Okay, now for the yellow. Now, I really want to go quite nuts with the yellow, because this is indicative of my summers as a kid, the mad yellows of the Jaggies. I'm deliberately going to create some extra ones over here, but deliberately going over the lines and scribbling away. So if my teacher in primary school was here, she'd be raging with me, telling me, you got to stay within the lines. Go outside the lines. Don't let the lines restrict you. Let them colours and the lines all work together. So we want this to be a total abundance of, let me show you again. Zoom in so you can see it. Look at that. Looks like it's on fire. Want this to be a total abundance of yellow, and it's screaming out from the page and should be absolutely everywhere. In fact, I could just take this and go just scrape the whole way around it, really, to communicate how much yellow is dominant in this little scene, this little study. And the good thing about the Seawhite of Brighton sketchbook is that it can really take the water that we're going to add to it. So like I said, this is a nice technique to use to actually draw with a pen and then draw with the watercolour pencils. When I am leaning, just remember that man asking me to communicate how the pressure that I'm using, so I'm leaning really, really heavily here to deposit as much. So these are slipping off. Put them down in the grass, preferably not. somewhere where there's a nettle, because that would hurt. But really just leaning in nice and strongly so that I'm putting down as much pigment as I possibly can, because I want when the water to touch this for it to go kaboom, and there'll be lots of splats and splatters everywhere with this one. Okay, so okay, let's stop there. Now time for the water brush. So let's prime the water brush just by giving it a simple squeeze. You can see the water dropping down into it, and that means, I suppose in general, if I was struggling, I could use my hand as a palette like that, you know. It's just going to squeeze more out there. Oh, too much, but that's okay. I also want to get some of this, the green. Not going to go too nuts with that. Trying to get that kind of spiky feel. Then I tend to, so I'm just doing this off camera, I'll rinse the brush effectively by running more water through it. I can, if I'm stuck, it's not a bad idea actually. Use your hand as a bit of a spot for somewhere to activate the water. Now, just moving this around as best I can. Loads more of the pigment over here. And just can drop that around all over the place, you know. Even some of those spines just as they are. Okay, and there you are. There's the jaggies. What do you think? So at least it's not far to go, because I have everything kind of balanced as he stumbles back to the car. But I'm hoping to do lots of different sketches and studies while I'm here and just have a bit of fun. It should be quite a long video for that reason. So do stay tuned, or seek through it as fast as you possibly can. So this is the fun bit. Woohoo! Now, help if I can get into this bag. Oh, look at this. It's actually one of these bags that you just light.
You're using that whole
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do is give us some of this.
It's kind of open.
You go and get your... We're going to try and
It's in my hand.
light this with... we're going to try and light this with Isaac's. Now, careful.
Should I do?
Try. Yeah. Just use that. Here, I'll have a go on this side. You try. So just light a wee corner there. You do it underneath so it's not. There we go. That's it now. That should be you. Let's see this thing take off. Oh, oh, mommy.
Mummy. Oh, mummy.
Oh, mommy. Right. Yeah, there we go. Right. So the charcoal fire is now started, and we're having steak tonight, and we're having potatoes that are going to be boiled and then fried in butter, and then beautiful cheese on top. Here we go. Hello, so we are now in the tent. Isaac has had some marshmallows. We had a gorgeous dinner. We're now just going to watch something together, and we're trying to cook bread that the outdoor boys does in the bag and the yeast and the strong white bread flour and all that. We'll see if that works. Anyway, we've got our wee burners on to keep us warm. We'll watch something and then we'll probably get ourselves to bed and have a good night's rest. Well, good morning. It was a very, very windy night, which actually was quite fun in some ways. And we're going to get up now and get some breakfast and get into the day. Now it is raining, so probably what we'll do is go somewhere. I think maybe jump into the car and head to somewhere warm, somewhere different, spend a bit of time. We'll see what we'll do, but we'll take you with us. So come on, let's get into the day. So we've now got showered and dressed, and we've woken up to a bit of a different day. Now it's not absolutely pelting it down, but what we're going to do is we're going to get some breakfast. And Isaac, what have we agreed? We're going to have brioche with bacon, egg, and a wee bit of tomato ketchup. Let's get cooking. Well, breakfast was delicious. Now for the not so enjoyable job of cleaning the saucepan, etc. But anyway, we bought this little thing in IKEA. It just holds a little bit of very liquid and scrubs, and you just press the top. Really love that. Love a wee gadget and how it changes things. So we've woken up to a wee bit of a different weather day. The rain has actually now stopped. What we're going to do is head into a place called Coleraine. Isaac and I have discovered that there's a few things that we need, which is like lights, just to make it that little bit brighter inside at night time. And we'll see what else we can find, and we can just sit in the car and be that wee bit warmer for a wee bit longer and not be buffeted about by the rain or the wind, but all good. I'm going to get these cleaned and then we'll head on into Coleraine. It's not very sunny in Coleraine. Got a couple of extra supplies, but we're going to just head back to the tent and get warm, I think. So because the weather's so pants, what we decided to do was head to Tim Hortons. I think Isaac's going to get some Timbits. I'm going to get a cup of coffee, and I think a hot chocolate's in order for the young master. So let's get that sorted. We'll get warmed. We may fall asleep in the car park. I cannot lie that could happen, but a warm car and some Timbits. Can I get a small hot chocolate, please? Yeah. We have two happy men in this car. And sometimes what's desperately needed is a pot of noodles. So I'm coming to you from a very, very windy campsite, and because we're not really very used to camping, we have put our tent out in, I think, really the middle of the field, and therefore it is very, very windy. The weather's not been great. It's to be a lot better tomorrow, but one of the things that I wanted to do when I was here was to be able to draw lots. Now that hasn't been that possible, but what I have been able to do is to make use of this space that we have in the way that I've thought to. So I did that one drawing of the Jaggies yesterday, and then we've got this scene over here which I'm going to do, and I'm just going to simply sit in the shelter of the boot of the car because the tent, you wouldn't be able to hear me at all. It's just so unbelievably windy. So let's make a start and simply enjoy this, and we're not going to spend forever doing it, but let's make the best of what we've actually got. Okay, so the scene that we're drawing is this scene just up in front with the tree in the middle there. Just if you can see that one, I don't know whether, I can't even point because I'm holding everything down so much because of the wind. We're using a acrylic marker pen. We're just going to go in here and get some of the details of these branches here. Starting not actually on the top left this time, so just shows you. Just trying to tackle this a little bit differently. really this is about the discipline of actually wanting to be able to do something, because the weather has not gone according to our favour at all. And we had hoped for much better weather. We sort of knew that the weather might not be that great, but certainly weren't ready for the windiness. And I think that, I'm sure a lot of you can relate, you know, you have plans to do things a certain way and then they don't kind of happen, you know. So what I'm doing here is just varying some of the pressure of the brush here, and then as I can lean heavier in here, it's quite nice how that's interacting with the page actually. Now the thing is that what's going to happen with this is that this will then be a memory for me of this space and this time, and just being able to you know, make our best of what we've got in the circumstances that we're in, and just want to focus on this, really, this tree. Now what I'm going to do in terms of adding colour to this is keep it really simple, and part of me thought that I would make the scene that bit more about can't even lift it up to show you, there's more wind rushes, you know, the Jaggies area, and then these trees here. But what I'm just going to do is just focus on this tree. Just, if you notice there, just move the pen onto its side just to give me that little bit more depth, and I can do that as a technique throughout this and pull it on down even further to areas like this here, and that also I think provides some sort of interest in the picture as well. And then what we'll do is get in just some of these fences here, and then we've got a little section of the Jaggies across there. Now at this stage I am just really indicating and marking for me that that's there, and because time isn't really on my side here, one of these perfect storms, the battery on my phone is about to go. It's been hard to get that charged, and so I'm just going to keep this really quite nice and simple and make this about the tree. And we'll probably, I don't know whether we'll make it a blue sky or a grey sky. We might make it blue just to lift the whole thing a little bit. And this brush, that branch, sorry, not brush, brush on the mind. Notice how wherever you hold it, whether it's directly like this, because there's some thinner, you know, that's obviously going to give you a little bit finer detail. So holding it like this, and then if I pull it on its side here, effectively then you're talking like it's more of a Fude pen, you know, the Sailor Fude Manon, because you're able to manipulate it in a way that is giving you lots of different qualities of line. Just letting these branches flow on up here. And there's a big windmill that's present up ahead, and I'm editing that out because remember, this is my picture and I don't have to put in the things that I don't want to put in. So okay, so that's all we're going to do. That's all the information we're going to give. Quick signature. Now we might need to let this dry a little bit. Now let me tilt this down a little bit more so we're going to get a bit more of the information now. So what I've got with me is, this is the prototype of one of Isaac's, the 4-well. I've got my water in its collapsible pot that I bought a while ago from IKEA. If I set that there, it's going to tip. Let's not set that there. But let's begin to, I'm just going to have to keep reaching across now. Thankfully we've got some of this. This is the Undersea Green by our beloved Daniel Smith. And there's just a bit of a line of field across here. Now I'm going to take some of that. It's a brown ochre. And just add in just a little bit of variety. Now we're not going to have time for lots and lots of layers here, so we're just really going to keep it nice and simple. Now you can take some of this blue, just add a little bit to this. And just give that impression of that there's some grass kind of going through a little bit here. And then let's take a little bit of that, the brown ochre again, so if you can see that. We're currently making the best of the situation. I think that, you know, the circumstances that we find ourselves in often aren't ideal, and there is something about just getting on with it, you know. I really had wanted very much to do lots of paintings while I was here, and haven't been able to do anywhere near as many as I thought, but at the same point I have been able to do some. So just celebrating that, and keeping this really quite nice and illustrated, you know, just keeping it really, really simple. Get these posts in here, let that bleed there. And this one, this branch here, this tree was absolutely, it's completely covered in ivy that has utterly swamped it. Not a big fan of ivy. Don't like what it does to trees. It always feels to me like it's kind of suffocating them, you know. More of that is going on the drawing board, and it is actually on the page. This is all okay. Again, we might let that bleed. There's some of this. It's actually surprisingly drying quite quickly as we do this. So, and that colour there is going to be perfect for just that little hint of the wind rushes that are right there, and we'll tackle the other bit of that in a second. You can see our barbecue is nearly ready. We've got gorgeous burgers to cook on it, so we're going to do that in a little second. So what I want to do with that is actually, before we go any further, I want to clean my brush to bring my pot over. And what we're going to do is use the other, whoop, nearly fell, but it didn't. Use the other side of Isaac's palette. Oops. No, just stay put. It's the last thing we want. To be able to lose the picture and then it goes all, becomes a total mess. So that'll stay put there. I'm going to make this a blue sky day. So this is actually cobalt blue, I think, from Winsor Newton, and just putting in just little mentions of the blue here. Hear my son giggling in the I was going to say in the caravan, but giggling away in the tent. In the corner of the brush here. I'm going to pick up on just a little bit of shadow down here. Okay, now the last thing that I want to do then is open up. This is a little Daler Rowney set, or Daler Rowney set that I was given. I kind of inherited, actually. Someone gave it to me, and just it was for this absolutely intoxicating yellow of the Jaggies. Now, actually, probably quite close there. It's like almost this sort of sunflower colour. And then there's one just beyond reach across here. This one, it needs a... Sometimes when you make marks like this, you know, it feels like you come like the child adding spots to the lizard, or to the lizard. Damn goodness, I'm all over the place. Oh, there's a drone. The child adding spots to the leopard. Just a quick tap. Okay, now I can lift. So this was the scene just around here, and this is my interpretation. He changes his smile from a very serious face. Now, why would you bother to do a video whenever it's grey and it's windy and you'd hope that the weather wouldn't be like this and there hasn't been as many opportunities to paint as you hoped. Why would you bother? Because I think that's the way life is, isn't it? Things happen to us all the time, and you either have to just get on with it, or you just go, well, I can't do it, I can't do it. So I thought I would try something. Now, that little painting that I did, remember I talk about the sketchbook being a journal and also a school? Well, my goodness, have I learned being here. My son and I have had an absolutely wonderful time, and I'll see you again before I sign off on this video. But I wanted to make the comment that I wanted to just do something. I wanted to make the point that even though it's maybe only a couple of minutes seated in the back of your car looking at a scene that's not maybe the most beautiful thing in the world, you may as well do it anyway, because days are like that, aren't they? Anyway, I hope you find that beneficial, and I hope that whatever circumstances you find yourself in, that you're able to make something beautiful out of it. Say that even though we weren't able to cook it on the barbecue, look at that for a stunningly well cooked burger by the amazing sun. Welcome to the beautiful Ballycastle. Well, here we are, our last night in the tent, so we're going to get ourselves into bed. Hopefully there'll be very little wind. We'll get a great night's sleep, and we'll see you all tomorrow morning. Well, good morning. It's our last morning here, and it's time to have some cinnamon cereal and get a beautiful cup of filter coffee. Anyway, I've already started packing everything away. Isaac's away for a shower, and then once we get everything in the car, we're going to get ourselves home. But I want to say thank you for coming along with us for this journey. It's been full of ups and downs, and really lovely to draw this space. Really nice and rugged and wild, and nice to have a bit of civilization with the table and the bowls and all this kind of stuff to make it feel a little bit more like home. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed it. So just got to get us packed up and get us home. I'll see you once we're home, but just wanted to say thanks for coming with us. Why not get yourself a cup of coffee? And if you've some cinnamon, if you've never tried these, oh, they're beautiful. Right, so I'll see you at home. And here is my greatest achievement from being away. We fit the tent back into its bag. Hey. Well, we made it back safe and sound, managed to get everything into the car. We'll have a wash on, everything's back where it actually should be, and it is good to be home. But we had a great time together. Now, the weather was challenging and the wind in the tent was really difficult, particularly the first night. Now, our second night's sleep was much better. I only got 2 opportunities to draw. I did actually another few plein just sketches with a Koh-i-Noor, one of those magic pencils with the blue and the red. I did that of Rathlin, which is across from Ballycastle. I did a video on Rathlin. If you go down into my videos, you'll see it there. That was really lovely. Throwing the stones together was really lovely. Eating together was lovely. Cooking together was great. It was great to just get some time with Isaac, and also it was great for him to be able to buy all of the different stuff that we needed for going away with the sales from the pallets. So thank you so much for that. If you have any questions, please put them into the comments. Love reading your comments. Don't forget to like and to subscribe. If you would like to own any of the paintings that you see in any of my videos, you can head to my Etsy store, which you'll find a link from www.woodwardswatercolours.co.uk. But as always, thanks for watching, and it was great to have you along on Isaac and my first camping trip together. I think we'll do that again sometime soon. Bye for now, everyone.